Okay, so in the year 2K15, I think we can pretty much all admit that most award shows are rigged and influenced by money and politics. But that still doesn't mean we can't get excited or angry about them. It feels very nice to have a deserving artist be rewarded and given publicity for their work. Celebration and criticism of art is a much bigger topic than what I wanted to discuss today. For now, let's focus on this specific problem. The Oscars lack diversity. This isn't the random opinion of a stranger yelling on the internet. It's a fact. Let's break down some details starting with the Academy. Now, to get onto the Academy, you have to be selected. If you want to be selected, you either need to be a past nominee or recipient of an Oscar, or just be that damn good, aka have lots of money. This is interesting because majority of the Academy, specifically 64%, hasn't ever been nominated or received an Oscar. Meaning the Academy is more so people of monetary and political power versus artists being chosen for a board. So, numbers time. Racially speaking, 94% of the Academy is white, 2% is black, 2% is Latino, and less than 0.5% is Asian, Native, and other. In terms of gender, 76% of the Academy is male, and the average age of Oscar voters is 63. Okay, before you start yelling at me saying not everyone on the Academy is racist or sexist, etc., I understand that. There are probably some well-rounded, socially aware people on the Academy. But how many 63-year-old white men of old money do you know that aren't even the slightest bit prejudiced? Also, racism or sexism doesn't have to be a blatant display of antagonizing behavior towards someone. It can be subconscious because, like I said in my How to Be an Ally video, most isms come from cultural norms that we grew up believing because of a set precedent. And since this demographic is the majority of the Academy, their opinion has the most influence when awards are given out. You know I love step-by-step investigations, so let's explore some areas the Academy is lacking in diversity and henceforth failing the human race. Race. Like most categories, I'm going to start us off with some statistics because that always puts us in a great mood about equality. This required a lot of math, and a lot of infuriating math at that. So take it all in, and if you're a stickler for sources, you can check the links down below in the description box. As of today, 94% of Best Actor awards have gone to white men. 6 men of color have won Best Actor. 4 were black, 1 was Asian, and 1 was Latino. And that Latino man? He won in 1950. As of today, 91% of Best Supporting Actor awards have gone to white men. 8 men of color have won Best Supporting Actor. 4 were black, 1 was Asian, 2 were Latino, and 1 was Spanish. As of today, 99.8% of Best Actress awards have gone to white women. 1 black woman has won, 0 Latino or Spanish women have won, and no Asian women have won either. The only time an Asian woman was nominated was in 1938. As of today, 86% of Best Supporting Actress awards have gone to white women. 12 women of color have won. 6 were black, 5 were Latina or Spanish, and 1 was Asian. Her win was in 1957. As of today, 97% of Best Director awards have gone to white directors. 2 men of color have won. Ang Lee, who has won twice, and Alfonso Cuarón. No black or Spanish directors have won. As of today, 97% of Best Screenplay Adapted or Original awards have gone to white screenwriters. 3 writers of color have won. 2 were black, and 1 was Spanish. When you see the number of nominations per race for a category, keep in mind that Hollywood likes to recycle actors of color. It takes a lot for an actor of color to make it to the big screen and be accepted amongst the crowd. So for example, while there have been 20 nominations for black men in the Best Actor category, if you remove repeat nominations, the number goes down to 11. Another point to consider is the limited opportunities presented to performers of color. The most racially diverse category, even if its actual diversity is laughable, is the Best Supporting Actress category. So if we look at the 6 wins for black actresses in that category, what do we see? We see roles that required actresses of color. We see a slave, a servant, a black performer. A couple of these roles are just background pieces to the story between white people learning life lessons. The 1 win in the Best Actress category for a woman of color was for a role that required the actress to be black. Of course, it's important to raise awareness for periods of racial strife and cast appropriately, but performers of color deserve an even playing field for more mainstream roles as well. They deserve a chance to be Rose in Titanic, Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park, Cinderella. So while you can use the excuse, maybe the Academy thought they just deserved the nomination or win the most, when these statistics actually represent a fair judgment system, maybe then we can bring the discussion of opportunity versus talent back to the table. Gender. So now that we've established that in acting, white women are getting all the love, what about the other categories? Well, no women are getting love, quite frankly. Here are the quick facts. 81% of non-acting nominations are for men. In directing, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Screenplay, women have only won once in each category in the last 10 years. There have only been 4 women nominated for Best Director, and only one has won. And here's the thing. These statistics are recent. They can apply to the Oscars this year. Not only is there a lack of opportunity in the film industry as less than 10% of directors are female, but there is a biased perspective in filmmaking. A study by the UN shows that only 1/3 of speaking characters are female, and that women were twice as likely to be sexually objectified in films as men were. Think about it. All of the Best Picture nominees this year were centered around men. Yes, some featured some very well-written female characters I enjoyed being brought to my screen, but none of them were at its core a woman's story and emotional journey. When 83% of films aren't displaying gender demographics as they appear in real life, there is something very skewed. In 2011, there were more alien and animal characters than there were Latina, Black, or Asian female characters combined. Only 11% of lead characters are female. Women are also statistically more likely to be identified by their marital status than by their career in films. Female protagonists are also usually significantly younger than male protagonists. Older female actresses that are receiving award recognition are usually playing troubled mothers or someone with an ailment that's age-related. This can also be seen in Oscar results. 75% of the women who won Best Actress were under 40 when they won. 1/3 of the women who have won Best Actress were in their 20s when they won. Meanwhile, 64% of the Best Actor recipients were over 40 when they won. So far, only one man under 30 has won the Best Actor Oscar, and that was Adrian Brody at the age of 29. It's a man's world in the film industry. Someone in school for film writing, I can tell you that these statistics match up in real life. I think when some men make, write, and produce these films, they see women as the supporting roles in the lives of men. Yet plenty of female directors have put men in the lead, so why can't the favor be returned? Majority of the time, gender is not a limitation when creating a great story. Half of the audience watching your movie is women. Don't give them 11%. Give them someone to root for, to relate to show that women can be emotional too. Women can be successful. Women can be broken. Women can be heroes. Scientists, dainty, sporty, child-loving, child-hating, fat, depressed, and overall complex characters. We deserve our female stoner comedy, our sci-fi movies, our historical dramas. We deserve to have our stories told. Queer community. Okay, so you want to know the queer actors who have won Oscars? Well, this is a bit of a complicated category. I scoured the internet for ages trying to find a list, but all of them were leaving people out. So while I can name at least 4, I'm gonna take a safe guess and say that there were no more than 10. The ones I can recall are Jodie Foster, Angelina Jolie, Anna Paquin, and Joel Grey. Now, I'm sure there are 1 or 2 other celebrities that are either not out yet or just slipped under the radar because of queer erasure, but even at that, this is a pretty pathetic number. After Jodie Foster came out, news sources cited that she was the only queer actor to receive an Oscar, when that is just not the case. Anna Paquin and Angelina Jolie identify as bi, but I guess if you're bi, you're not really a part of the queer community. The fact is, queer people winning Oscars isn't made out to be that big of a deal. Probably because they aren't winning them. Which becomes 10 times more cringeworthy when you realize how many straight actors have won or been nominated for roles that were queer. Tom Hanks for Philadelphia, Christopher Plummer for Beginners, Sean Penn for Milk, Charlize Theron for Monster, Nicole Kidman for The Hours, Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club, Hilary Swank for Boys Don't Cry, Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote, Heath Ledger for Brokeback Mountain, Julianne Moore and Annette Bening for The Kids Are Alright, Colin Firth for A Single Man, Felicity Huffman for Transamerica, Jake Gyllenhaal for Brokeback Mountain, Rooney Mara for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game. The list goes on and on. And okay, your first defense might be, but Megan, there are more straight actors than queer actors, and it just went to whoever deserved the part the most. I get that defense. I used to use that defense. But some research into the film industry and recollections from queer actors will tell you that being queer in Hollywood can get you blacklisted. A lot of actors have come out post-critical and financial success because they were afraid of being typecast or having their role choices limited. Neil Patrick Harris wasn't out until everyone started loving him on How I Met Your Mother. Jodie Foster won her Oscar decades before she was officially out. Queer actors playing queer roles on television is just now evolving. So the film industry still has a long way to go. If queer actors aren't even really being considered for roles or are avoiding them out of fear of a blacklisting, how can we truly say the part went to those who deserved it the most? Oh, the question that presents itself at the end of all of my videos. Where do we go from here? I wish we could fix the lack of equality in Hollywood and its award shows overnight, but there's only so much you can do when Hollywood is run by a very select few wealthy, privileged people. There are performers, writers, directors, technicians trying to push for equality in Hollywood. They're doing their work in their queer, race, and gender-inclusive films. If you're not in the film industry and don't plan on it, you can use your role as a consumer to support films that give representation and expand equality. This doesn't mean you aren't allowed to watch or like movies with white, straight, or male characters. But a lot of times, movies about characters that don't fit that description encounter financial difficulties, resulting in a lack of promotion and a low box office income. Promote movies that are challenging cultural norms and are inventive in their roles. Denounce movies that are racist, sexist, harmful to the queer community, harmful to the disabled community, etc. The lines between art and criticism are often blurred. But saying a form of art is harmful to a community is different than saying a form of art is a big old bowl of horse shit. These issues are beyond personal preference and taste in films. They belong to a realm of centuries-old political and social movements. We owe it to each other as human beings to celebrate each other in our creations, not discriminate. Thank you, fellow feminists, for watching. As always, my links are down below. And I am very tired right now, so I'm going to go. I'll see you soon.